Ted for ESFI World, and I'm joined here with Complexity's TriMaster, who just completed all of his matches here at MLG Raleigh. So thanks for joining us here, TriMaster. And for those who don't know you, because I'm sure coming into this event there weren't a lot of people who knew you, could you just perhaps give a little bit of a brief introduction about yourself, how you started playing StarCraft, and then how you ended up on Complexity Gaming?
First off, my name's Joshua Nevin, aka TriMaster, 23 years old. Currently live in Houston, Texas, a student of U of H, University of Houston. I've always played Blizzard games since I was younger. I should say I've always played games in general, but I mean I did play Brood War, Warcraft 3, all that good jazz. Never competitively, always the custom map kind of guy. But besides that, I don't know. I just started playing StarCraft 2, and then I started getting good. And then I joined Complexity because Katz was like, "Oh, hey, you're good. You should join Complexity." So I was like, "Okay, sick." And
so it went down just like that. You should join. Bam, you're in.
Pretty much. It was. I beat him. Actually, I beat him this year at MLG Dallas.
Katz, that is.
Yes, and he wasn't that impressed with my play. It was more like, I don't know. He thought I was kind of cheesy. But I was abusing Blue Flame, so what do you know? But the next time I played him, we actually played in an online qualifier, and I beat him, I believe, in just a straight-up macro game. And afterwards, he's like, "Oh, wow, you actually got better. You know, we're looking for talent. Maybe you should think about joining Complexity." So at the time, I was currently on IS for a few weeks. This was totally out of the blue. I didn't expect it, and I just took the chance.
Very cool, very cool. Well, I'm sure now looking back at it, most would say it worked out well. So you've been to previous MLGs. However, this MLG, I mean, we'll get to your results here in a second, but this MLG, you really made a name for yourself with your results. Can you maybe talk about your experience this time around compared to your previous times? I mean, you had whole crowds watching you, play against amazing players. You beat Idra, and there was a massive crowd around you there. It must have been a lot different for you than your previous times here at MLG.
Kind of. It actually turns out I remember in Dallas, I lost to both Naniwal and Sheth, and they're both players that generally attract crowds. So there was still a bunch of people watching, although they were all rooting for them, but not me. But the past few MLGs, I guess it is a little different because people started to keep an eye out for me. Yeah, I mean, I keep getting knocked out of the open bracket.
Well, I know in Anaheim, you got knocked out of the winners bracket by Oz, who's a very good Korean, and then you got knocked out of the losers bracket by White Ross. So really, again, no shame there. Two very top-notch players. So do you think that having maybe not having the fans cheer for you, your first couple MLGs, having them watch, alleviated your nerves this MLG when you started really doing well? And I guess kind of the pressure was on. You were kind of, the foreign hope of the open bracket of the 4 players to advance into pool play. You're the only foreigner. So was that previous experience help you a little bit with your nerves?
I don't know. I don't usually get stage fright, or at least when I'm performing, I should say. I just get so focused that it's just I'm playing. That's the only thing. It's kind of like one track, I guess you can say. But besides that, the crowds generally aren't bad. No one boos or anything. If anything, all they do is support their player. So while I felt like might have been the away team, I wasn't receiving any negative response. So generally, I didn't feel much pressure, I guess you could say.
Well, it certainly showed in your performance. You played extremely well. So about your performance, again, like we've been hinting, at your previous MLGs, you've really come a long way from Columbus to Anaheim to now. Can you maybe speak a little bit about your preparation and how you've gotten better? Especially in such a short amount of time. It's been almost a month since Anaheim, and you've really, especially here, made a pretty big name for yourself. I don't know if you've seen your fan club on Team Liquid is just starting to explode now.
It's just something that kind of happened over time. It wasn't like I suddenly decided, oh, StarCraft 2's out, I'm going to go pro and just stop everything I'm doing. I did play StarCraft 2 since the beta, but also at the time I was playing other games. I mean, whatever was out at the time, I was playing WoW and all that good jazz. It wasn't actually until, I guess you could say, the start of this year, when I went to my first MLG, I was like, oh, wow, this is, a lot of fun. I think I'd actually like to start doing this. Then I flew myself out to Columbus, and I think it was there that I kind of decided that I want to take a semester off school and see where I can go with this. And then, shortly after, I get picked up by Complexity, and I guess here I am today at Raleigh.
Yeah, it's working out very good so far. So back to the open bracket. Again, like we said, you were one of 4 players coming out of the open bracket, but you were into pool play, but you were the only foreigner. Did you expect to do this well coming into Raleigh? I mean, obviously, every player wants to do as well as they can be, but did you honestly expect to perform this well consistently, especially through the open bracket, which just has so many good players in it?
I mean, it's a little bit of luck going through the open bracket. Like, I don't know if I would have made pool play if I had to play Nobilis in the first round or something. Mm-hmm. So there's definitely a luck factor involved. I did think I could have made to the pool play. It just all came down to who I had to play.
Mm-hmm. So after the open bracket, you played the likes of Jinro and Idra, and especially your match against Idra, I think, was around the height of your attention. I don't know if you've seen it, there's a video on YouTube of the end of your match.
Oh, I did see that.
Okay, and I guess maybe if you want to talk about playing those matches specifically, how did you approach those matches? Did you study their styles? Did you try to keep an open mind and stay calm? So maybe a little bit about how you went into both those games.
I mean, I wasn't really worried. I know he's a great player, but I was going to go in to win. I wasn't going to go in like, oh, I hope I do okay. I was lucky in that I played Hey Pro before him, so I definitely got really good ZVT practice in. I actually lucked out against Hey Pro, too, because the maps kind of favored me a little. But it turns out he actually watched me while I was playing Hey Pro. He saw the entire series, and for the most part, my series against Hey Pro was just me doing a timing attack every game. So I decided to switch it up a little, do a little mind games on him. I went for a really fast third on the first map, and it happened to be close to air on Shattered. So I just did an elevator drop into his main. I did the same thing on Metalopolis, took the gold really fast. He was really aggressive, trying to deny my gold. I did manage to hold, though, and I was actually, I think at one point I might have been ahead, but I felt like I was behind, and when I pushed out to try and deny his fourth, it turns out he'd just taken his fourth, so he destroyed my army and just kind of rolled in and took the game. So I think I messed up there in that I kind of misread the situation. I think if I waited, I might have actually won on the second game. And the third game, I just did a 2-base all-in. Shakuris is a really good map for TVZ. Especially if you could get tanks outside their ramp, you kind of screw them over because they can't reinforce from their third. Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of players have been talking about Shakuris as well as a number of other maps in the map pool that maybe it's time to again start migrating a little bit more towards the new maps in the GSL to just spice things up, make it a little bit more interesting. So now that you're done all your games for the day, and even after you were eliminated, you had to play, was it 3-4 matches?
It was actually 2 consolation matches. I had to play Slush and the Muslim, and I mean, I really didn't get that much sleep the last 2 days. I guess I was a little too happy.
I was just going to ask you, how are you mentally and physically? It must be like, all right, now you have to play these consolation matches. Oh, by the way, you went through all these other players here. Now play these. How are you right now mentally and physically?
I'm just pretty tired. I mean, I'm really happy with my results. I mean, the person who knocked me out was Huck, so I can't really complain about anything. And then I came 16th for my consolation matches. Spoiler alert. But yeah, I mean, I'm done, so I'm just gonna relax and enjoy the rest of the day.
Nice. So I guess in the future, are we going to be seeing more of you at MLG and other events? I know that there's probably a lot of people who want to see you at other events now that you've really put your name on the scene right now.
Definitely. I mean, I am definitely going to Orlando. Hopefully, I can make pool play again. Doing it once was cool, so let's go for a second time. It's definitely hard, so we'll see how that goes.
Awesome. And I think one last question. In a lot of what you've talked about with the open bracket and with the maps, use the term luck, and it's actually a term that I like to talk about to various people. But so you would contend that there is a decent amount of luck when coming to an event like MLG with this type of format?
Well, definitely. I mean, if you look at it, you have Code S players that are going through the open bracket. Mm-hmm. They're definitely heavily favored. So there is a little bit of luck if you're in the same bracket as them. But also with the map pool, because each round has a different starting map. Like I said, versus Hey Pro, I got Zelnaga Caverns, which pretty much guaranteed me a free win because it's so Terran favored. So yeah, I mean, I definitely say there's a little bit of luck into getting into pool play.
All right. Well, I think that does it. Do you have any last comments or shout-outs to your new huge, or I'm assuming what is now a huge fan club on Team Liquid and all over the world?
Sup, dudes. But other than that, I mean, I do want to thank Complexity. I want to thank Cats for recruiting me, Complexity for flying me out, and of course all our sponsors. We have Sound Blaster, PNY, Origin, and QPad. I mean, without them, I wouldn't have been here.
Mm-hmm. Well, we hope to see you at future events. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.